What is dark and what is light? Quite opposite to each other. One doesn't has any meaning if the other loses its own. Now, there is a place far high up on the Himalayas, next to Tibet, which hosts India's first dark sky reserve. There, in the extreme darkness, surprisingly, you will find the whole cosmos. Stars, galaxies, their light. And that's Hanle. This is the story of our journey to the stars. Before the end of 2022, Ladakh is set to become the first dark sky reserve of the country. We are going on a quest to the middle of nowhere. It is so nowhere that scientists are going to do experiments of Mars and Moon. Hey there, I am Astro Roxy, and in this video, I am sharing my journey to one of the world's highest observatories and how it's able to solve universe's biggest mysteries. Let's start. To Hanle, where the secrets lie. Our destination, Hanle in Ladakh, lies north of the Great Himalayas, 4,500 feet above the sea level, surrounded by mountain ranges in all directions, which, by the way, were formed by the glacial activity during the last ice age. But why are we in the middle of mountains again? You see, monsoon, summer cyclone, winter cyclone, they all diminish the number of sparkling stars we can see in our country. The high altitude prevents clouds from covering the horizon, and the result is clear dark night skies for all year round, comparable with sites like Mauna Kea in Hawaii and Atacama Desert in Chile. But first, acclimatization. If you go to high altitude too quickly, your body is not able to adapt to the lack of oxygen supply. So, after popping a white pill known as Timox and a day's worth of rest to prevent us from altitude sickness, we set out to the astronomer's paradise. In Ladakh and started our journey from the Leh airport. We hired a cab to cover the distance of 250 kilometers between the Leh airport and the Hanle observatory. Our local driver and tourist guide, Dai, was an adventurous guy.
सामने से सामने से आ रहा था, बाइक पे आ रहा था यूपी पे ना, तो मार्केट में वो सामने से बाइक आ रहा था। वहाँ बैठ के फोटो लेना। ओके। मैंने इसे देखा वो हाफ जैकेट पे था ना, बड़ी अच्छा है ना। हाँ, ये तो स्मार्ट बंदा है, कोई बाइक लेके आ रहा है। मेरा दोस्त को बताया देखो इतना स्मार्ट एक्स्ट्रा आ रहा था। सामने आते आते ऐसे चला गया, पहचान में नहीं आया। बोला कोई सलमान खान है।
With a tiny haircut and he does not feel the cold at all. He smiled at everyone saying Jule, which means hello. The breathtaking view makes you want to sit for infinity, irrespective of the freezing wind, in an attempt to capture the vastness you see in front of you. The higher we went, the more barren everything got. No trees for kilometers. The cold desert terrain is harsh for life as we know it. But this is what gives rise to its uncanny similarity to the red planet. Scientists suggest that Martian lakes, before they dried up, were similar to the present-day Ladakh lakes. If this is possible here, then the existence of life beyond Earth appears endless. After a rigorous journey of 8 hours, we were finally at the summit of Mount Saraswati just before the sunset and saw the giant eyes of the cosmos with our own.
I still remember the first night I spent near the observatory. The sky looked like tiny diamonds filled on an everlasting black canvas. The star-studded Milky Way was rising from behind the observatory. I saw its star clusters and nebulae, and the first thing I recognized was Orion the Hunter chasing down the Seven Sisters, which were immersed in a faint blue halo. It is said that on a clear night sky in the summer months, when the Milky Way is on the top, we can see its core, we will be able to see our own shadow. Not because of the sun, any street lights, any moon, any planets, no. Just with the brightness of all the stars, you can see your shadow. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that an astronomer's paradise? The first telescope to be set up was Himalayan Chandra Telescope, named after Indian astrophysicist and Nobel laureate Dr. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. It's a 2-meter telescope that works both in visible and infrared. As you can see, these are the wavelengths that can penetrate our atmosphere. Now, this telescope can work in temperatures below zero, but the astronomers who need the data, they don't have to work in such challenging conditions, because the telescope can be remotely operated from thousands of kilometers away in Crest, Bangalore, thanks to a dedicated satellite link.
IAEA searched many other sites in sub-Himalayan range of Kedarnath, Badrinath, and Dalhousie, and this Spiti Valley and all. But finally, Ladakh in Hanle was selected for the detailed site characterization. So there was a team made by IAEA, and I was also a team member of 6-7 people. Slowly the team members which were from south, they started disappearing after 2-3 months. When I was alone, our people told you select your colleague, local engineer. So I selected that person, Dorje. So 1998. So I gave him all training in astronomy and all initially. So we two were there. Slowly other people also joined. So if you are allotted 2 nights on a telescope, so you need 10 days, because you have to acclimatize 2 days in 3 days in Leh, travel, and then come to Hanle. Hanle also immediately cannot take work next day. So then going back. So it was thought that why not make this telescope? By that time, this communication technology also have come up, networking and all. So it was thought that its remote operation may be made from Bangalore, Housecote campus. So those things, all infrastructure came, and instrument also commissioned. And finally, from May 2003, it took almost 3 years for final commissioning and giving it to the nation.
Can you guess where I am? I am at the Indian Astronomical Observatory and their control room. So as you can see all around me, there are different types of computer over here. Too many wires and too many things going on, and we have one person to help us out to understand how the Himalayan Chandra telescope is able to capture what it's able to capture. So I have Kunga String sir with me. So how are you doing, sir?
I'm taking flat here.
Flat here.
Yeah. और जो स्काई का कंडीशन देखने के लिए, स्काई का कंडीशन कैसे है, जो इस पोशाक कम करके इमेज लेते हैं. The sky the condition. Hello? Yeah, hello, it's over here, Taekwondo.
With a very short
Gaussian curve.
It's a Gaussian curve with a very short width.
Okay.
So when you get a very good short width, that means the focus is good.
Okay.
Next up, we have MACE. It is a 21-meter large gamma ray telescope, and this, by the way, is the highest located telescope in the entire world. Once it's fully operational, it is going to reveal the secrets of the most violent events that are happening in our universe. The atmosphere of the Earth prevents gamma rays from reaching the surface, but their interactions in the atmosphere create very high energy particles. These particles travel faster than the speed of light, not in vacuum, just in air in the atmosphere, and they emit an eerie blue light. And this flash of light is also known as Cherenkov radiation. The honeycomb-shaped mirrors of Maze will capture these short-lived flashes of light. This will allow astronomers to trace back each gamma-ray source back to its cosmic origin. Was it the death of a massive star, a gamma-ray burst, or maybe a burp from a center of active galaxy, or a rapidly spinning pulsar, or maybe the dark matter, the enigmatic dark matter was behind it all? We will finally have an answer. The Indian Astronomical Observatory has more than just these two telescopes. And there's also news that a new telescope will be set up by ISRO soon in the near future.
The facilities by the Indian Space Research Organization coming up in the next few years. And we also expect to set up a larger optical infrared telescope in one of the higher peaks or higher location in the same mountain.
Hanle is, you can say, monsoon bound because western disturbance, whenever it comes, everything falls on Srinagar, Kargil, Zujila, etc., and light cloud passes. Whereas when the southeast monsoon comes, everything falls in, all the deposit gets on Himachal, Uttarakhand, etc., and then we get lighter clouds which can cross the Himalayas and visit us. So with that fact, this is actually, we get around like 180 total cloud-free nights, and observable is like we have like 270 nights in a year.
So this was the story of Ladakh. How the land of nothing actually becomes the land of every possible human question. Not just scientific, but something that is at the very core of human emotion. That is exploration. Finding the stars where there's no light. Finding oneself by becoming truly lost. The dichotomy of the cosmos, showing us maybe our eventual fate as a species, which is traveling back to the stars. Now, with Ladakh becoming India's first dark sky reserve location, traveling to the observatory will be easier than ever before because dark sky reserves promote astro-tourism. Let me know in the comments if you also wish to travel there. What do you want to do there? What do you want to see in the sky? Everything in the comments below. Our quest to Ladakh would not have been anything like this if it wasn't for the people who were with us in the terrain, who have lived there for centuries and beyond, the locals. And I also want to thank the CISF and BRO. Special thanks to Dorje Anchuk, who's the torchbearer of Hanle Observatory. Kunga Sering, who's the on-ground operator of Himalayan Chandra telescope since decades. Sevang Stenzen, who's identifying asteroid among billions of other stars in Hanle. Rene Anchuk, who's building the most sophisticated gamma-ray telescope the Northern Hemisphere has ever seen. Rakesh Rao, who's bringing stories to life from the edges of astronomical pursuits. Also, our very own comrade of the journey, Dai, who shared many quirky tales and drove us to the land of high passes safely, even in the freaking midnight across lake. Jule!